It's safe to say that ever since Sony and Sucker Punch announced Ghost of Tsushima way back in October 2017, fans have been incredibly excited to take up their katana in a gorgeous reimagining of feudal Japan and seeing where the wind took them. Well, the wait is almost over, and we've spent the last few weeks exploring every far-flung corner of Tsushima Island's staggering open world to bring you our review. Here are our spoiler-free impressions of Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima's tale is inspired by the first Mongol invasion of Japan, taking place in the late 13th century, 1274 to be precise. The remote island of Tsushima and its front line of samurai are all that stands between mainland Japan and the vast Mongol army. You play as Jin Sakai, a noble samurai lord who witnesses firsthand that the honourable and direct way the Japanese samurai are traditionally taught to fight is pretty much useless against the sheer number of Mongol invaders, who also come armed to the teeth with explosives and sophisticated, highly efficient machines of war. So, forsaking his family's code, Jin sees no choice but to become the Ghost of Tsushima, a warrior skilled with katana who also utilises trickery and underhanded fighting techniques to stop the invasion no matter the cost and kill the Mongol general Khotan Khan. Jin's aided in his fight by Yuna, a thief who saved his life the day the Mongols landed, Lady Masako, a warrior on a bloodthirsty hunt for revenge, Sensei Ishikawa, a world-class archer, and a bunch of other misfits drawn to their cause. Despite some intriguing supporting characters and storylines, Ghost of Tsushima is, on the whole, a very po-faced, very familiar story about honour and duty and tradition that can't lay claim to much originality or historical accuracy, but perhaps, who needs that when Ghost of Tsushima's vast open world looks like this?
I don't want to kill you.
To be fair, the story is really just an excuse to let Jin, and by extension the player, loose on Tsushima's unbelievably beautiful island. It's easy to see why developer Sucker Punch is so keen for players to experience the game's extensive photo mode, available at any time by simply pressing right on the D-pad. From lush golden forests to gleaming temples and quiet mountain paths, Tsushima is a visual wonder. The game also embraces its cinematic inspirations by including Kurosawa mode, where the whole game can be played with a black and white film grain filter that mimics legendary director Akira Kurosawa's unique aesthetic. Ghost of Tsushima is at its absolute best when you strip the HUD away to pretty much nothing, mount your trusty horse, which you get to choose and name near the start of the game, and just ride out into a pampas grass sea, letting the world wash over you and events unfold however and wherever they may as you explore. There are several different kinds of mission you can take on. Tales marked in gold as Jin's journey will advance the main plot, blue mythic tales unlock legendary combat skills, and Tales of Tsushima are various side quests that you can pick up involving island residents or your companions. Speaking to island inhabitants on your travels or rescuing them from random Mongol patrols may mark other points of interest on your map. Birds can occasionally swoop overhead to try and guide you to places of interest too, though their success rate is a mixed bag. Sometimes they'll indeed manage to take you someplace unexplored, and other times they'll just collide with the landscape and grind their heads against a cliff face until you give up and just scout ahead to find the place yourself. What works much better by comparison is the guiding wind mechanic, where a swipe up on the touchpad will prompt a powerful gust of wind to blow towards your next objective marker. It's a lovely, organic and non-intrusive way to incorporate the often clunky concept of waypoints into a beautiful natural landscape. It's very seldom a straightforward ride from location to destination, of course, but this is a place where you can't help but get distracted by the next curiosity sitting just over the horizon.
Send your best warrior!
Most of the time when you encounter a Mongol force, you'll be able to choose how you want to approach them. Whether that's in a standoff, where you face a chain of attackers and must strike each at exactly the right time for a one-hit kill, or taking a more stealthy path and utilizing tools like smoke bombs, wind chimes, firecrackers, and even blow darts to spread fear among the enemy ranks. Even when staring down Mongol invaders face to face, you'll have to change stance depending on your attacker and their weapon of choice, to increase the chance of successfully disarming them, often literally. Or use weapons like kunai, your longbow, and sticky bombs to ensure you aren't overwhelmed. Basically, even though you'll be fighting a lot of enemies, the variety of tools at your disposal means things won't feel too samey. What can feel rather samey after a while, however, are the various other diversions that you can uncover throughout Tsushima. Fox dens will lead you to Inari shrines, Pillars of Honor will gift you new cosmetic sword kits for your katana, and ascending platforming obstacle courses that lead to some of the island's larger shrines will bestow various charms upon Jin when he honours them. There are also haiku spots, hidden in picturesque areas of natural beauty around the map, where Jin can take a surprisingly serene moment to stop and reflect on various themes while composing a poem. Then there's bamboo strikes, where quick button inputs will unlock new resolve points, and hot springs, where Jin can nude up, climb into the soothing, steaming water, and ever so slightly increase his maximum health. As fun as all these distractions are to uncover at first, though, they never offer any new animations or insights. The locations change, but that's about it. And it's all a bit tiresome by the 20th time you've experienced it. That's also the case with a lot of the game's side quests, which can all essentially be boiled down to the following formula. Follow NPC to location, investigate surroundings at location, follow tracks to new location, fight Mongol invaders, Ronin or bandits, and then return to original quest giver. Anytime a quest hints at doing something new, like it has you board a boat or sneak into a delivery cart, the game will invariably fade to black instead of showing you the action. In fact, a handful of times during the game, entire conversations happen on a black screen as characters transition from one location to another. It's this slight roughness around Ghost of Tsushima's edges, here and in some minor bugs we encountered, that made us wonder if the game could have used a little more time to prove. Early impressions likening Ghost of Tsushima to a sort of Assassin's Creed Lite aren't that far off the mark. Its systems are plentiful, but they are fairly lightweight. Between upgrading your swords, your outfits, your sword stances, your long-range weapons, equipping charms to buff Jin according to your playstyle, seeking out various collectibles dotted around Mongol camps, and just the sheer size of the map, there feels like a lot to do and manage. And there is. But there isn't as much depth to any of it as you'd hope. You'll likely max out all of your skill trees relatively early on without really trying to. By the end of the game, you'll probably have 3 identical versions of every charm in your inventory. Given how exciting the combat can be and how beautiful everything looks in motion, you just wish there was a bit more bite and variation to the world, which can end up feeling somewhat shallow and lifeless as you move towards endgame. Despite some disappointments though, we can't deny being totally taken in by Tsushima's rich tapestry of texture and detail. And even if its structure felt repetitive, we were still experimenting and coming up with new combat strategies dozens of hours in. There's a very particular kind of comfort to be found in games that aren't really interested in rushing you along to their epic set pieces, but instead welcome you to while away the hours watching a sunset or taking the perfect snap in the dappling afternoon light. And there's genuine challenge to be found in duels, reassuringly infrequent events that strip everything away until it's just you, your opponent, and the clash of cold steel. even if it did have a tendency to fall into sweeping stereotypes of the era, with notable exceptions. There's a reverence and awe of classic Japanese cinema and culture running throughout Ghost of Tsushima that is infectious. It just feels like, when it came to carving out a unique personality for itself, the game wasn't quite up to the challenge. This gameplay will feel very familiar to fans of similar action-adventure titles, and for many of those players, that won't be a bad thing at all. It's just a shame that Sucker Punch crafted such a gorgeous sandbox and then didn't really know how to fill it without a lot of copy and pasting of assets. All that said, if you just want to don some amazing armor, perform some perfect parries, and live out your dream as a samurai legend, you'll find exactly what you're looking for right here. All you have to do is ride out over that horizon and claim it. We have plenty more Ghost of Tsushima content coming up later this week. So why not subscribe to Eurogamer if you haven't already, and click the bell icon to make sure you never miss an upload. Until then, there are tons of other videos on the channel, some of which are on screen now. Thanks for watching. Bye!